Ever considered changing who you are in order to appeal to others? That's exactly what today's guest did. Listen in and find out what happened next.
Welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show, where successful small business owners share their secrets to take your marketing to the next level. Now here's your host, Tim Reid.
G'day motivated business owner, it is Timbo Reid here. Welcome back to another episode of the world's #1 small business marketing show. A show, by the way, laser focused on helping you grow a business that you love through some very, very smart marketing. And to that end, let's get stuck in to some marketing, GOLD.
Small Business Big Marketing with Tim Reid.
Now, picture this. You're walking through a beautiful national park. The sun's beaming down on your back, the birds are singing, you're sucking in the fresh, crisp air. But all of a sudden, your day's ruined by a pungent smell that had killed religion. You look ahead and there lies a pond, a stagnant pond, full of water that hasn't moved in years. You very quickly change course, avoiding it at all costs, and everyone around you has done the same. Now, why am I rattling on about bushwalks and foul-smelling water? Very good question. Well, that stagnant pond is your website if it hasn't been updated for a very, very long time. And those walkers that have diverted their course, they're Google. You see, Google love websites that are regularly updated with relevant, unique, helpful content. Why? Because in the big G's eyes, that makes the internet more interesting. And the more interesting the internet, the more people will come to it and spend time there. And that provides Google with the opportunity to sell more advertising. It's pretty simple, really, isn't it? But we're not in the business to please Google, now are we? Updating your website with helpful, relevant content is simply good for your business. It makes life easier for your customers, and it positions you as an opinion leader by showcasing just how much you know about the industry in which you operate. So put aside some time this week, team, to refresh your website. I'm not seeing enough websites that get refreshed regularly. It can be as simple as updating the intro copy on your home and About Us pages by adding some new images or changing some old ones. You know, mullets are no longer in. Or if you want to go crazy, then add a blog and start sharing weekly updates that solve customers' problems or entertains them, or even both. We talk a lot about these ideas in the Small Business Big Marketing Forum, and I love seeing just how much of a difference it makes to a business's online footprint and their Google rankings. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Update your website now. After all, nobody likes a smelly old pond. Alrighty, now there's plenty of marketing gold in today's show. Shortly, I'm going to have a fireside chat about personal branding, about failure, about social media with the owner of Cactus Skincare, Ryan Clark. And I've got some listener feedback that I think you'll find very, very interesting. But first, let me tell you about how our good friends at Net Registry can help you crank out some great online marketing. A couple of things we have added to the Small Business Big Marketing site. So at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, if you go to the homepage there's a little Net Registry banner on the right-hand side, and I've created a dedicated blog that is all about online marketing questions. And you can go there, you can ask an online marketing questions in 250 characters or less, and the team at Net Registry will answer that question for you. No strings attached, just any online marketing question you have, go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and post it, and we will get it answered for you. That's all about getting your online marketing sorted. That's what Net Registry do. The other thing too is they have a DIY search engine optimization package for dedicated for Small Business Big Marketing listeners. They've got a keyword service product to help you identify keywords that you should be using on your website. And they've got a Google AdWords setup package, all unbelievably inexpensive and all accessible through the Small Business Big Marketing site. So head over there and check it out. If nothing else, post your online marketing question at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and get that answered, because that is free, all thanks to the very good folk at Net Registry. So before we get stuck into today's fireside chat, I just wanted to share some feedback that I've been getting. I'm sitting on so many emails from listeners, and if you have sent me an email, I am sorry, but I will get to them. I absolutely will. I'd never delete them. I print out every one, and I will cover them in upcoming shows. I'm also getting a lot more comments on the show notes of each episode. And in fact, the episode 2 weeks ago with dentist Paddy Lund, boy, oh boy, did that polarise. The most polarising episode of the Small Business Big Marketing Show ever. Just looking at some of the comments on the show notes for that episode. And if you haven't listened to it, have a listen to it. It's episode 183, and I talk with this dentist, Paddy Lund, who goes about business a little bit differently. So Jamie says, just listening to the Paddy Lund episode, bloomin' heck, best interview of any kind that I've ever listened to. Complete genius, not sure why. Would love to know where else I can listen to him or read what he's doing. Keep up the great work, Timbo. Then I've got one from Chris. I love all your interviews, Timbo. I can't wait for my walk on Wednesday mornings listening to you with my headphones on, usually laughing and nodding and basically looking like a crazy person. But I don't like to be negative, so I tried really hard to come up with something nice to say about this interview with Paddy. But I just can't, says Chris. Grumpiest happy guy ever. You couldn't pay me enough money to let him anywhere near my teeth. Still love you, though. What else have we got? This is great. I can't read it all. It's so long, but this is from the Fat Badger. Timbo, buddy, mate, please don't put me through that again. Without any hint of a pun, that interview was like pulling teeth. And he goes on to say some really, really funny stuff. If you get a chance to read Fat Badger's comments in the show notes for episode 183, I suggest you do. And the list goes on. So I love getting that feedback. I love knowing what you think. And in fact, out of today's interview, there is going to be a prize for the best comment from this episode. I'll come to that after the interview. Here's some emails I'm getting. This one's from Daniel Roberts. Daniel says, Timbo, I wanted to contact you personally and thank you for the content and even more so how you deliver the content on the podcast. Thanks, Daniel. That's certainly my intention is to deliver it in an entertaining and engaging way whilst still educating you in the world of marketing. I've always been a big believer of utilising time to the best of my ability, and he goes on to say that he does a lot of driving, and I fill that time. This is not an email asking for anything, as it is more an appreciation of your intent and humour. Thank you, and I will continue to be a listener for a long time to come. Danielle, might be Daniel, I don't know, Daniel or Danielle, I think it's Daniel. Daniel, I love you. This one is from Helen. Helen says, hey Timbo, how are you, mate? My name's Helen. So I only knew about this podcast from listening to the Daniel Flynn episode from Thank You Water. I'm not actually a small business owner, but a student. One that doesn't want to own or run a business. But I continue to listen in because I learn so much about how the business world works from a great guy like you. Oh, stop it, Helen. I don't really have any questions for you. Just wanted to share some love and tell you what a great job you are doing. Thank you very much, Helen. And can I just say, it feels as though I'm kind of patting myself on the back by reading these emails. But can I just say that it's a lovely thing to do to reach out to someone else and thank them. I try to make a habit of it every week. Try to do it every day. It doesn't always work. But if you haven't thanked someone in recent times, pick up the phone and thank them. They will love you for it. And it feels really good. Here's one more. This is from Fiona Ellen. Fiona says, hey, Timbo, I'm an owner of a fledgling startup, online marketing and copywriting business. Here we go. I'll give you a plug. Purple Patch Marketing, which at this stage is only me, but I'm looking forward to a big things in 2014. See, I told you I'm behind. This is from December last year. Don't bother looking for me anywhere online yet because I'm not there. The delay has been due to crippling fear of putting myself out there and lack of business confidence. That's why I wanted to read this. Boy, oh boy, Fiona, feel the fear and do it anyway, is my advice. I see a lot of business owners crippled by fear, crippled by not wanting to stick their head above the trench, and I'm going to talk about that later. But just do it. You do go on to say, I've turned the corner with these issues and will have something to show for myself shortly. So good on you for actually just feeling that fear. Don't let it cripple you. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Get out there and do it. She goes on to say, I've yet to find even one of your shows that I haven't really enjoyed and that hasn't delivered massive value and inspiration. However, the 4 or 5 that particularly stand out in my memory are the Mia Friedman interview. Yeah, that was a good one. Good one about brand. The financial guy in Tassie, Charles. Yeah, that was a good one about video and content marketing. The vintage bathtub guy. Yeah, that was a good one about e-commerce. And the 2 interviews with Daniel from Thank You. Well, that was just a beautiful social conscience story, wasn't it? Thank you for putting out such great content and massive value every week. Fiona, thank you for thanking me. I love you too. If you want to send me some feedback, send me an email, tim@smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. I love getting it. Got a thick skin, constructive feedback, a virtual hug, whatever you've got. Love hearing from my listeners. Let's get stuck in to today's fireside chat. It is with Ryan Clark. Ryan is one of the owners of Cactus Skincare.com.au. He owns it with his mum. He is a long-time listener. He is the marketing manager of that business. It's an online business. It also has 20 retailers who also stock his product. And it was relaunched 2.5 years ago after a little bit of non-activity due to his parents splitting up. Now, this is discussion. This is going to polarise. I know it's going to polarise because at one point I kind of suggest that Ryan might be a bit of a wanker. Bit harsh. I said it lovingly. You'll understand what I mean as you get stuck into this interview. But this is an interview about personal branding. It's about social media. It's about failure, and I think it's a wonderful chat with a young man who is trying to build or rebuild a business that is in a very, very overcrowded category. There's also a prize at the end of this interview, so I'd stick around for that as well. Here's Ryan Clark from Cactus Skincare. Hey, Ryan, I always start with a big question, as you know, mate, and I want to know, have you moisturised this morning?
I have, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
What are we talking?
Nature's antioxidant cream. I used the lemon myrtle cleanser in the shower, and then moisturised. So it's getting a bit colder, so that's a bit of a richer day cream for me. So I'm switching up for winter. Yeah,
mate, it must be like a baby's bum. Those cheeks of yours.
Ooh, silky smooth.
Silky smooth. Hey, now listen, in all seriousness, I'm always fascinated when someone enters a category that is crowded. Now, as I say that, it's like, what category isn't crowded these days? And it's certainly not a reason not to start a business in any category. But what made you think the world needed another skincare range?
Well, I sort of fell into it in that sense that my mother started the company 20 years ago. So I was 10 years old or 11 years old. And so I grew up with it. But then, things happened. And in 2005, when my parents got divorced, they shut down the company. And so 2.5 years ago, Mum said, I'm launching it up again. I've got a simplified organic range. Like previously, we had 14 products. She was starting it up again with 6 products. It was going to be online. And she said, do you want to come and do the marketing for it? I was working as a copywriter in advertising at the time and sort of thought, this will be cool to go and do that, and I'll be building up something for myself. But we were sort of starting from scratch again, and she had previously been marketing to, her market was baby boomers, mainly because she was a baby boomer, and it was mainly word of mouth. Just word of mouth. There was good branding. In the packaging looked nice. It was good product and stuff. But
you've got. But to my point, like 2.5 years ago. So it's a 20-year-old business. So you kind of weren't starting from scratch. You knew the fundamentals of running a skincare business, but a huge amount of courage, because it's particularly a category that has, your Revlons and your L'Oreals and your Body Shops and your Lushes. I know all this, mate, because I've got a 13-year-old daughter who is just like a walking marshmallow in terms of moisturisers and all sorts of things. So, again, like at 2.5 years ago, you must have said to your mum, that's a good idea, Mum. We should relaunch Cactus. What made you think Cactus was vastly different to or better than anything else on the shelf?
Well, I'd seen people use it and saw that it worked well. My parents always looked much younger than any of their other friends that weren't using the products, and people would rave about it. And I always asked, like myself, why isn't this a bigger company? Why isn't this doing better? And I'd had ideas about what I wanted to do, like improving customer service, like speeding things up, and they'd never done samples or worked on a way of capturing people. So I just came in and wanted to improve, I guess, the customer service and the way everything happened, and build a sales funnel. So make it easy for people to sort of take step by step and get further down the rabbit hole.
Love it. So really, and my question wasn't like, the intent of that question wasn't like you're mad, but what you've kind of confirmed, what I see is that often people identify undermarketed businesses and they buy them, or they relaunch businesses that they started years ago and realise that, this is undermarketed. So, and I always talk about that, that saying, people can copy what we do, but not who we are. And so...
Yeah. Well, I think it was sort of like it's just a matter of like communicating it properly to people. I felt there was a communication breakdown with it, or like that. Just making sure people were able to try. And so certainly you wouldn't be the first person to say I was mad. Going into.
Well, I'm not saying you're mad. I'm interested. I was more interested in why, and I get it. I mean, you have created. I mean, just looking at it from an aesthetic brand, I've never used it, but it looks beautiful. Your messages are simple. Your photography's simple. You've done things that others may not have. Others may have complicated it. So, no, I get it. And you've sort of carved out a little... Would you say you've carved out a little niche for yourself? And if you have, what is that niche? Who is that niche?
I think so, in that a lot of other organic brands are sort of going for more and we are earthy and we're all about that, but they sort of, it's much, I guess, nicer than what we're sort of, I guess ours is maybe a little bit more playful and maybe sexy, in that the girls that are using it and promoting it, it's like we carved out a niche in that a big part of our market are sort of Instagram girls that want to be Instagram famous. So
Mate, they sure are. I was wanting to make sure I didn't get busted by, as I was looking at your Instagram page, by my daughter or wife walking in the room.
Yeah. So basically we worked on sort of a seeding model, and that's why. So we get, if a girl's got 40,000 followers on Instagram, I'll go and talk to them and say, hey, do you want to try some of our product? And I'll say, the product is a gift, and if you want to talk about it on Instagram, we would love that. So then the girls go and do that.
Clever.
And then their followers come over, start following us, and then they see that there's the samples, and we include a little bit of potpourri and a little note in there. And so then we give them a recipe for how to reshare that. That's set up by the girls that we give it to. And so the girls will tag back to us, do a hashtag, and then...
What do you mean a recipe? You mean like here's what you need to write in your Instagram post?
Well... mainly just those girls that have the 40,000 followers or however many followers, they already know. I don't tell them. Don't tell them. But basically, then their followers will go and sign up. And then when I say a recipe, I mean they see them do it, and then they copy that behavior. And then they have 500, 1,000 followers on Instagram, whatever. Then their friends see that, and then they copy that behavior, and so it ends up being what do you say, a virtuous cycle? Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that seeding strategy. I speaking to Melissa Coker who was the creator of the First Kiss video a few episodes ago, and that, whilst the First Kiss is the most viral video the world has ever seen, she'd done some clever marketing prior to that, and one of the things that she'd done of recent times was she owned a fashion studio, Ren Studios in LA, and she packaged up a whole lot of her items and sent them off to an actress friend of hers, can't remember her name, but an A-grade actress, A-list actress, with a Polaroid camera. Yeah. And the actress just shot off a whole lot of pictures of herself in the clothes and sent them back to her for use in publicity. So I love seeding. Underutilised.
Underutilised. Well, it's getting more popular now, I think. Like certainly these girls that have become friends of mine, they get sent stuff all the time. So anyway, so it's getting more popular, but it is good. And
So listen, let's talk personal branding because you really interesting. You sent me an email a few weeks ago suggesting you would make a very good interview subject, and so good on you for doing that. But part of that, you said you took yourself from being a bit of a dag to essentially playing the sort of character I figured I needed to be to do this business. And what you did, you glamorised the brand, and now you count Miss World Australia and Miss Universe Australia and a bunch of other minor celebs as raving fans of your product. Now, I find this interesting that you kind of felt the need to change, and correct me if I'm putting words into your mouth, but the need to change yourself. Ben Futrell, another past guest of this show, he's Australia's leading action coach, talked about the need to kind of alter your character to build rapport with your customer. And so is this what you've done as well, Ryan?
Yeah, and it's mainly about sort of when I'm going out there and meeting influencers that I fit in that sort of that crowd. So I remember when I was my first thought when I came on was like, let's not target baby boomers as much anymore. Let's target the beautiful people just because they're the people that are online. They're on Instagram, they're on Twitter constantly. Let's target those people. And so I went. A friend of mine is a model, and he said, you should go to events. I go to them all the time. I'm going to one on Thursday. Do you want to come? So I came along to this thing, and I wore the best clothes that I had available. And I freaked out at first when I first went there. I'd never seen so many good-looking people all in one place at the one time, and I didn't know where to put my hands. And I was like going, all right, I'm going to put them in my pockets and just, act casual, And
how long ago is this?
This was probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
And 2.5 years ago, and that was and I saw him roll up, and he's wearing this beautiful blazer and his shirt undone, and he looked at me and Bucks, and I went, all right, that's what I need to do. So then I went out and basically maxed out the credit card on clothes and started working out a lot more. I got into I suppose watched Mad Men and looked at Don Draper and go, all right, and sort of slowed down the way I speak, look at people in the eye.
Wow.
This sort of thing. And then also to do that, become and trying to increase how charismatic I could be when I'm out and focusing on that, but in a non-sleazy way, like sort of I'll go and do it, be that character, talk, be cool, and then go home,
Man, okay, stop. This is interesting. So you were at this first event 2.5 years ago, feeling uncomfortable, not knowing where to put your hands. You've gone off and... Sounds like you've completely done a makeover of, body language, speech, the way you present yourself in terms of clothes, hair, physique. That also feels very uncomfortable. So you've gone from have you gone from being uncomfortable to uncomfortable, or did you find yourself?
Oh, I think I found myself. I feel much more comfortable now. Now I can go there and I'm very relaxed. People sort of know me. I can go and say hello and blah, blah, blah. In those sort of situations, I'm pretty comfortable nowadays. I don't think it feels uncomfortable. I think there's a certain feeling of satisfaction to have been able to kind of, in a clandestine way, infiltrate that sort of world, and sort of feel like a complete fraud sometimes. But then the thing is, like, what you find out once you go deep into it, like most people are sort of faking it until they make it in that scene, anyways.
So just this scene, this beautiful people scene that you talk about, one of the great songs by Australian Crawl, by the way. You would not remember that because you were not walking the planet, but this is a scene. This is a target market. I call them your best mates, from a branding point of view, that you've identified as being fundamental to Cactus Skincare's success. Is that fair to say?
I'd say that's very fair to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they know Cactus skincare, if they're using it, if they're talking about it, then a major part of the marketing strategy is underway.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're enjoying it now, are you? Because I know there's people going to be listening to this going wanker, right? Do you accept that?
I totally accept that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And fair enough. Like.
Am I talking to the real Ryan, or if I got a couple of beers into you, you'd slip back into your old bogan ways and have a real laugh?
Yeah, maybe. I suppose I am trying, my best to speak calmly and coolly, but and it depends on what scene, what people I'm around will dictate how my behaviour is, I suppose. Yep. But I am by and large, a lot more calm. I used to be a lot more wild, and so my background was in being creative and being wild, and so it was kind of a new thing to go and try and apply my creativity to business. But now I'm starting to really enjoy that. But I've gone in and done it just because that's where the conversations are happening, and those are the people that are really interested in what we're doing. Being selling vanity, selling skin confidence, and that sort of thing.
You're selling hope, aren't you?
Yeah, I think definitely hope. Yeah. Hope and like the confidence to chase dreams, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But I think confidence is a big thing. It's a big deal to be able to go and feel like no one's looking at my pimples because I don't have any, or my redness or whatever. That's a big part of it. But yeah, selling the dream. I
woke up this morning, I've got a little pimple developing on my forehead, which is very unusual for a 46-year-old male. I'm maybe getting younger. I don't know.
Let's get a bit of... Yep.
But listen, good on you for having the guts to have this conversation. And maybe I'm overstating what we're talking about here. But, I know there'll be some people going, is this guy for real? But let's talk about the idea of the business owner managing what they put out. In fact, it was only in last episode with Griffo, we did an episode of Funny Business, and Griffo raised this point of, people are on to what you're putting out. Don't think they can't see how you're feeling, right? So it was like that whole thing of like a business owner, we feel like we've always got to bring our A game to our marketing, to our customer service, to everything we do. But we have shit days. There are some times when we just have shit days. And I wonder what's your opinion about business owners just not spending enough time presenting themselves in a way that does them the most amount of justice?
What do you mean, like?
I mean, from clothing, from just how you look, how you actually present yourself.
Right.
Really superficial stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think, a well-cut suit and presents, an image of confidence. I was sort of also thinking that we, like, from a position of, like, selling it, we're another untapped market or something. Like, I think business owners, if you're getting your skin, I was thinking of tapping into, like, CEOs or that sort of, if you go into a meeting and you're looking fresh, you're looking healthy. I definitely think that, clothing, the way you carry yourself is going to, give people confidence in dealing with you. Like, if you've got a good handshake, you're standing up straight, you're well dressed, you seem confident, and you're happy with yourself. And I think often, to begin with, because if you're turning over nothing or $20 a month as we were, in those times, you still have to go and sort of put on that smile and and give other people confidence to get involved with you. I think that's a big deal. Like, so, definitely. I think. Initially those things become a mask, so that you can just get over that first hurdle of actually getting to the point where there actually is some substance behind you. But you can't. I definitely think that putting effort into body language and the way you dress, the way you present yourself is very important. I don't think it would be just for me. I think that everyone's had that time when they shake hands with someone and it's sort of a bit of a limp handshake, and so, am I going to do business with this person?
Yeah, that's one thing. I feel like my work is done as a father of three if my children offer a good firm handshake. Hey, so you did a lot of work here, Ryan. You did some work on body language, on speech, consumer psychology, socialite psychology.
Yeah.
Tell us about socialite psychology.
Well, I suppose the socialite psychology. What do I mean by that? I mean that these people want to feel important, so you've got to be, I guess, generous with, and not sleazy. And what do I mean? When I go out to these parties, it's important to, I guess, keep it brief, be calm. A big thing going out to these things, people can get really nervous, or it's important to sort of just remain confident or have an appearance of confidence. Regardless, and I'll always...
Can I suggest something? I'm going to be the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
You're really searching for the right answer.
Yeah.
And I reckon that can trip you up. I reckon that, would you have the courage to answer that? What's the real answer to that? You got to make these wankers feel comfortable, feel loved. Is that it? You can't say that because one of them might be listening.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess the people that are going for big followerships, they want attention. So we'll give them attention.
You've got to make those babies feel loved. That's what it is, mate. Peter Clemenger. I worked for a big advertising agency for 10 years in Clemengers. He came up to me one day. I was a young account executive, and I was up myself, and I was, thought the world was at my feet. Probably was, and he said, "Timmy." He's quite a rough bastard. And he said, "Timmy, what are you here to do?" I said, "I'm here to make advertising, Mr. Clemenger." He goes, "That's bullshit. You're here to make the client famous." Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're, if I was to put words into your mouth with this whole socialite psychology thing, then you got to make these people feel as though they're loved. I've been around celebrities before in previous jobs, and I've seen how people pamper to them, and that's socialite psychology, I would have thought, because if they're feeling loved and confident that that they may give you something back in the form of exposure or their time.
Yeah. Well, that's it, and just being grateful and saying thank you and treating them as a human and being generous. Giving shout outs on our page, saying, look at how good this person looks, and that sort of thing. I suppose it is a subtle sort of thing that's hard to put into words, but it is something that I've worked on, and I'm sort of constantly trying to put myself in other people's shoes. So, and it's not just that socialite; it's also the people that are customers of ours, and so people that come in and they want to be noticed, they want to feel special, like they're unique and valuable human beings. So it's email communication, and seeing when someone reaches out to you with an email, it's an opportunity to connect with that person. Mm-hmm. So I think sometimes people go, well, I, in my own, customer service, when I'm dealing with someone else, people go, well, there's no need to respond to this, but in responding back, but I will, show a genuine interest in customers and what they're up to.
Yeah, right.
And I'm glad, I'm so glad that it arrived there safely. Thank you for letting me know. Because people email me and say, my stuff arrived safe and sound. It looks so beautiful. Thank you so much. And, that's the thing where, I could just take that and go, all right, that's great. But, responding and saying, oh, I'm so happy that it arrived there safely. And then also, things like, if there's a problem, say, I'm the one that upset. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset about this. Let me see what I can do. It's that, I guess, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the little things. Absolutely. The 1%ers. So Ryan, you took, 2.5 years ago, your mum says, we're going to relaunch Cactus Skincare. It's turning over $20. You did a whole lot of work on yourself, on the brand, on the customer service. You've got a great social media strategy happening. You're now turning over, and by the way, it's a completely online business.
We have about 20 brick and mortar stockists.
Right.
By and large, the vast majority of our trade is done online.
80% online?
Oh, more. 90%.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, so what you've taken it from $20 a month. What are you turning over a month now?
Well, we turned over about 20 grand last month, but we've been growing at about 30% a month. So it's like, and it's not sort of showing any sign of slowing down. So that's going from...
That's fantastic. That's like 6 grand. So you like next month will be 26 grand.
Yeah, hopefully, if it's on track for that. So,
what's the game changer been? Don't tell me your socialite psychology strategy, or I'll kill you.
The big game changer. I think a huge thing. We started to see a lot of growth when. So I read, and you would have read this, Linchpin by Seth Godin, and it's all about. Don't try and cut costs. Do something beautiful. Create something people are going to want to talk about.
Yeah.
And so instead of like cutting costs on shipping or whatever like that, we instead went, how can we make this something worth talking about? So we've been having steady growth ever since we started doing it. So we put a bit of potpourri in with the note with the samples, and it's like it makes for a good photo. So then people will start sharing that, and then when we send out the bundle packs, the full size product, we include little baubles and things. And if you look at our Instagram, you would think that people would grab little flowers and things like that to put in there to make a photo, but we've put all that in there. We gift wrap everything. Then there'll be a little driftwood stick, a little orange peely looking things. That doesn't sound very appealing, but if you look at it, you get the idea of what it is. But little things that look good, and also they smell good. And so when people open it up, there's a feeling and go, oh, I have a feeling and I want to share this. So we've had sort of pretty steady growth since. So it ends up being a self-fulfilling thing so people get that, they take the photo, other people join up on Instagram, and then they get the samples, they try it, so we've been having really good growth since we did that. And then we had another peak when we started doing the bundle packs. Like previously we were just selling the products individually, but and the average price is about $50. $60, between $60 and $70 for a pot of cream. But then when we started doing, all right, here's a full regimen for $150, $160, we saw another sort of spike then. It made it a little bit more affordable for people, and it meant that we were sending it all out at once. So
there's a couple of lessons there. One is because I guess a major marketing strategy of yours is social media. And when you have that as an underpinning marketing strategy, you want to make sure that you create stuff that's shareable, so that you're doing that. You're making it easy for people to want to share. And the other thing is, your orange peel and your potpourri and your driftwood and all that. I mean, cheap, but at, high perceived value, low cost to you, like nothing. Cents. And this is another wonderful strategy, I think, which clearly you got from listening to this show. Yes. I'm just preparing an invoice. So that's great, mate. You're starting to not quite knock it out of the park yet, but you are seeing some significant growth, and that's really exciting. Tell me about failure.
Failure. Well, yeah, okay. Well, when we first, geez. Well, I mean, the first year and a half, it's like just, grinding your face against pavement, sort of like trying to, keep your head above water, and but failure. So when we first started doing those samples, biggest failure was probably it was sort of a success and failure at the same time. In that when we first started doing the samples, we were doing them for free. Sign up to our newsletter and we'll send you out samples for free. And I quantified it and gone, all right, well, on average, every sample pack we send out, we're making enough people are buying to justify doing that. But then all of a sudden, after about 6 months of that and getting sort of pretty, creeping up there, we got featured on a bunch of freebies websites. And so the Monday of this particular week, we sent out 10 samples. And then the next day, we sent out 125. The next day, 730. The next day, 850. And then the next day after that, I capped it at about 200. Like I sort of turned it off, and so we didn't have enough samples to do it. We had to go and get just buy bulk envelopes, get all this extra bulk of product done. I was working like 16 hours. So what was the
mistake there? You went after a free offer strategy and didn't put a cap on it?
Didn't put a well. I think that if you charge a little bit of money for it, there's There's a psychological change that happens with customers. So now they're $5, and that just basically covers our costs, but it means that we're qualifying our customers a little bit more. But that thing, so those freebies websites attract a whole different type of person. It ended up costing us, thousands and thousands of dollars that we absolutely didn't have. And, it took everything I could to convince Mum to keep going after that point. That was like a real, we were both completely exhausted and broken. And I was like, no, we do have goodwill here now. And we've got, let's keep going. We'll start charging for the samples.
Mind you, the ones wanting the free samples are probably not the ones at the opening of the Diamante shop or, at the A-list events. Or maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they're as cheap as everyone else.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone likes a bit of free stuff. But
I love you've got that pop-up on your website which says it's a big decision making the jump into a new skincare range, so we've decided to make it a little easier by offering samples for only $5 worldwide. And what I love about that is you acknowledge a problem. And you address that problem really, really simply. It's not plus postage and handling. It's not key in your postcode or zip code and we'll tell you how much it's going to cost. It's like you're going to take a hit when someone orders it from Paris, but you're going to make you might put $1 in your pocket if someone orders it locally. So I just think that's really smart and beautifully, elegantly simple, Ryan.
Well, it costs us $6.25 just for the stamp to send
there you go.
To anywhere international, apart from New Zealand. But, so it's more about just making sure that we're qualifying our customers and it's something worth talking about. So then people share it and go, they're only $5. That's an easy decision. Mm-hmm. And then there's a psychological change where they're a customer now and they want your communications. Yeah. Whereas and I've found that with myself, Frank Kern did a thing where he was selling a book and he just wanted you to pay for postage. Mm-hmm. And, I found I was reading his emails after that, but whereas if I've just typed in my email to someone and I get a free ebook or something like that, I'm probably less inclined to.
You got no skin in the game.
No skin in the game.
No skin in the game. Hey, now, listeners, I have been speaking to Ryan Clark. Ryan is one of the owners of cactusskincare.com.au. You can go and check it out. I am going to really look forward to seeing reading what you've got to say about this fireside chat. I reckon there'll be some strong views out there. I've had a few interviews lately where people are starting to come out of the woodwork, Ryan, and express their views, and I love that. I think it makes for good podcasting and for good learning because we can't. If everyone agreed with everyone, it'd be a boring world, mate. Now, you speaking of bundles and all this skincare stuff, you're very kindly going to give a bundle pack away valued at $149 to the best comment that we receive on the show notes. Is that right?
Absolutely. Well, what's the criteria so that they know? Like, what define best?
Exactly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this podcast is evergreen, it's going to be people will be listening to it in 3 years' time, but I will put a deadline on it of 2 or 3 weeks. I'll put it in the show notes, and I'll also send an email out to anyone registered at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com. But it's going to be a blog post that offers the best insight. The person who shares the best insight, having listened to this interview.
I would love that. And you're allowed to call me a wanker too.
Hey, mate, I've been called worse. Don't worry about that. One of the things about what you and I do, when you stick your head above the trench in marketing, which is what you've done with your strategy, you have gone and changed who you are. I stick my head above the trench with my strategy by being a podcaster. People are going to have comments. They're going to have opinions, mate. And opinions are like a-holes. Everyone's got one. All right?
Yeah.
So that's how we roll around here. So, Ryan, I really appreciate you, listening to this show for so long, B, actioning many of the things that we've shared on this show, and C, hitting me up for an interview on the show. Well done.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate you having me on. I hope there's something in that.
Good on you, bud.
Cheers.
Righto, well, what an interesting interview. I cannot wait to hear what you've got to say about that. I'm going to share my top 3 learnings from it very shortly, but let me share a pro tip from our friends at Swiftly, which will do nothing but help grow your business. Now, as you know, Swiftly is all about doing small design jobs fast, like in less than an hour, for a massive $19. And by the way, if you're on my mailing list, then just this week, you would have received a free design task from Swiftly. No strings attached. NTS, as they put in the classified ads. But Swiftly have just upped the ante. Now they're offering over 2,000 creative templates free to you, the motivated business owner. We're talking Facebook banners, Twitter backgrounds, business cards, letterheads, and plenty more. 2,000 free creative templates. You can personalise them yourself or get Swiftly onto it for $19. Hey, why wouldn't you? Now that's got to be good for your business. Check them out at swiftly.com. That is SWIFTLY.com. So back to that little chat we had with Ryan Clark of Cactus Skincare. I would love to know what your greatest learning, your greatest marketing insight was from that interview. So if you go to episode 185 at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com and leave a comment in the show notes, I will look at them and make a decision by May 15, 2014 as to who left the best comment. And you'll get that bundle pack sent to you from Ryan. My top 3 learnings from that chat. Number 1, work on your appearance. You know, I've been guilty of this. You know, some mornings I think, I'm not going to shave. I've only got one meeting or, you know, whatever. But yeah, do work on your appearance, what you wear, how you present yourself, whether you moisturise, what your hair's doing. I think as business owners, we've got to put out a sense of success and of confidence. And that comes through working on our appearance both inside and out. Be shareable if you choose to use social media. We haven't spoken a lot of recent times about social media, but if you are going to adopt a social media strategy, then create things that are shareable. So that you're getting leverage by other people retweeting or liking or commenting or emailing on the content that you're creating on your social media. So Ryan's idea of, sending product that looks beautiful that people want to photograph and put out on Twitter or Instagram or Pinterest is a really good idea. Number 3 learning from Ryan, don't be afraid to stick your head above the trench. Right? Talking earlier about that feedback from listener Fiona, who started the new business and was a bit kind of held back by fear. Stick your head above the trench, motivated small business owner. That's what we do. We've got to get noticed, right? It's a busy world out there. There's lots of marketing messages going to your customers, your clients, your prospects every day from other brands and from your competitors. And what I mean by stick your head above the trench is do things that get noticed, that are engaging, that are helpful, that are entertaining, that are useful for your prospects, for your best mates. And if you do that, you'll get noticed. Otherwise, you're wallpaper. They're my top 3 learnings. Leave yours in the show notes for episode 185, and you may well just win a Cactus Skincare bundle. We are nearly at the end of episode 185 of Australia's, if not the world's, #1 small business marketing show. I'm off to the City of Angels tomorrow. I'm off to Los Angeles. I'm giving a speech, giving a keynote in Anaheim, Disneyland, and then off to Beverly Hills. So that will be fun. And if you want to follow my antics, head over to the Small Business Big Marketing Facebook, and I'll post some photos there. Get into the forum. Head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, click on the forum button and join. It's $1 for the first 7 days. You can wet your whistle, see if it's for you, and then it's $49 thereafter. That price is going up real soon, by the way. So if you get in at $49, it will be $49 for you at the lifetime, per month for the lifetime of your membership. I'm in there every day answering questions, and there are lots of other motivated business owners as well, answering questions and posing questions. I also do an exclusive webinar once a month where we go deep on one marketing topic with a special guest just for forum members. Remember, Net Registry are there to get your online marketing sorted out. Even though I got an email from a listener the other day who doesn't like me saying sorted in like a pommy accent. Remember Swiftly, small design fixes done fast, plus 2,000 free creative templates. Boy, oh boy, has the marketing world changed for the better for us small business owners. Next week's episode, Miss Chu, amazing Vietnamese restaurant owner in Australia. She is doing amazing things and I love her creativity. I'm going to talk all about that. That's enough. I'm Timbo Reid, and you have been smart enough to tune into the world's #1 small business marketing show. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Small Business Big Marketing Show with Tim Reid. Want more marketing goodness? Then visit smallbusinessbigmarketing.com.